My name is Dr. Kaur. I'm a naturopathic physician. I was actually introduced to holistic medicine maybe like 15 years ago. At that time, I was dating my husband, and he had seen like his primary care physician, and they had found that his white blood cell count was very low. It should be between like a 4 to 10, and his was about a 1.5. And what he was told was to follow up with an oncologist, that there's nothing like his primary care physician could do. So we actually came and saw Dr. Thorpe at Tustin Longevity Center, and she gave us a lot of hope. She educated us on a lot of the food choices that we were making. So she enforced that we should focus on getting healthy protein, getting our vegetables, keeping carb intake low, but also she helped us evaluate his food sensitivities. So she did a blood test to figure out what foods were inflammatory to him. She also looked at heavy metals in him. And after working with her and going through her protocols, within the 3 months, his white blood cells improved from like a 1.5 to a 3.5. It was a huge change, because we didn't have to see the oncologist. He started doing really well, feeling really good. And it had a big impact on me because I actually didn't know that this kind of medicine exists, right? I just thought, you have an illness, you take a medication. I didn't know about you should be focusing on your gut. It really matters what kind of foods you eat, how you handle stress, the toxins we live around. It all has an impact on you. So then I was very moved by that. I actually started working at Tustin Longevity Center while I was doing my chemistry degree at UCI. And then I decided to go to medical school because I wanted to make that change in other people too. I wanted to be able to educate people about healthy eating and help them prevent disease.
Very cool. You actually took some major action, huh?
Yes.
Well, that's very commendable. So we're living in a COVID world, and I guess your immune system, immune response, and everything like that is on the forefront of everybody's mind in regards to what it is that they could be doing. One of the new and improved updates with Doctor's Nutrition Bar, of course, is the probiotics. And could you speak to, how probiotics and gut health impact the immune system and your immune response?
Yeah, good question. What we do is when a patient comes in here for their first visit, the visit is about an hour long, but most of the time we're spending time with them to get to know about their gut health, actually. We start with doing their history about how they were born, whether it was a vaginal birth or C-section, right? Because that impacts the body too. When we're born vaginally, that's going to give you the good bacteria from mom. It's going to get in your eyes, ears, nose, and throat and help build up the immune system. Same with like breastfeeding. And then when we do the history, I ask them a lot about having to use antibiotics often. Not that antibiotics are bad, but overuse of that destroys the gut bacteria. And we need the gut bacteria because not only is it going to help me digest food, but it's also going to help build up our immune system. Now we're learning that most of our immunity starts in the gut. So that's very important, right? And also about the gut and the brain connection, we're learning a lot more about that. Our neurotransmitter serotonin that makes us happy and balanced is 70% is made in the gut. So that's also going to have a big impact on like depression, anxiety. If somebody's gut's not healthy, it's going to cause some of those symptoms as well.
So starting in the gut is a great place to focus on when you're talking about general health.
Exactly. If anybody comes in, if you just help them at least with digesting food, helping focus on that gut, or maybe just educating them about not using antibiotics too often, I think that's going to have a big impact.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So moving from immune response, and what are some of the things that people could be thinking about in regards to, because you had mentioned diet, in regards to sugar intake and things like that, and preventing, cancer. When we're talking about healthy immune, of course, that's one aspect of overall health. What about preventing things or trying to prevent things like cancer or, some of those other hot points out there, like, memory depletion over time, aging, things of that nature?
Right. Yes, because we do make something called insulin, right? Anytime we eat carbs or sugars, our body makes insulin, and its job is to break the sugar down. However, what it does is it stores that sugar in our fat cells later on for energy. Because I think some point in our life we're going to go into starvation mode because we'll be hunting for food, and so we need to have enough insulin stored up so we can use it. But we don't live in that world anymore, right? We have food available all the time, and we're constantly taught to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, so we all have a lot of stored up insulin. And over time, insulin will cause more inflammation. We're finding it's also causing cancer cells to grow. So the focus is actually to allow our body to rest, right? Maybe even focus on doing some intermittent fasting, where it's restricted time eating, where maybe you're not eating between 11 a.m., you're only eating between 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. So you can allow your body to burn through that insulin. But also the food choices matter too. You can't be eating a lot of bananas or breads, pastas, things that are going to stimulate insulin. Maybe we focus on getting good protein, a lot of healthy vegetables, right? And maybe some berries we can take in that doesn't stimulate the insulin so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that leads me into, I'm going to continue on this diet trend here. And, we're just coming out of a season, I think, culturally in America where, there was this big push for low fat and no fat diets. That was one of the, big trends out there. Can you speak to that and what we've learned since then in regards to eating healthy fats like phospholipids?
Correct. Yes, because back in the day, it was found that sugar was the enemy, right? Sugar was causing heart disease, heart attacks. However, the sugar industry didn't like that, so lots of money was paid to start blaming fats instead. Then they started saying fats were causing, high cholesterol causes heart disease, but that's not the issue. We're finding a lot of people who died from heart disease a lot of times had diabetes and high sugar levels, high insulin levels. And since then, they've created trans fats, which are bad, right? This processed food that's going to cause more harm to the body than good. But what we should be eating is healthy fats, like even grass-fed butter, right? Even grass-fed beef, wild-caught salmon, to get those healthy fats in, because our brain is mostly fatty. Right? Fats help us make even our hormones. So we need healthy fats to keep good memory, to keep up with our health and help the joints and help recovery.
So having a diet that's rich in healthy fats is important. How can it aid in, things like, or how could fiber, low sugar, fiber, and then also healthy fats aid in, somebody who is trying to, let's say, lose weight or feel better? Could you speak to that a little bit?
Right. I do find a lot of success in people doing intermittent fasting and stopping eating after like 7 p.m. And the next day, maybe don't eat about 11 a.m. to allow your body to burn through that insulin. And that can a lot of times help with losing weight, because the less insulin we produce, it's going to keep your sugar levels low and then not store up so much fat in the body. But when you do eat, let's say you eat 2 meals a day, I would focus on getting a good piece of protein in, whether it's a grass-fed beef or some organic chicken or some salmon, but fill your plate also with some healthy fiber, like maybe broccoli, asparagus, green beans, Brussels sprouts, any of those green vegetables that are low on the sugar are also going to give you a lot of fiber. You could always add fats in, like avocados, avocado oil, grass-fed butter, ghee, any of those healthy fats to help heal.
Awesome. And would there be anything else that you would like to share that, with, potential viewers in regards to some other things that they could focus on and to improve their overall health?
Yes, I would also recommend focusing on water, right? We get so busy nowadays and there's so much like sparkling water, so many fancy things around. But the best thing that you could do for your body is maybe get some filtered water, right? Make sure it doesn't have a lot of anything, right? Like the tap water isn't good because it has a lot of the chemicals, the toxins. So I would try to focus on getting some filtered water and try to drink at least half of your body weight in ounces to help flush out the body and also keep it hydrated.
Awesome. Well, hey, Dr. Kaur, it's been amazing. Your wealth of information. I'm super interested in everything that you have to say. I'm actually on a fast right now.
Oh,
I'm
that's
doing
amazing.
I'm doing an extended fast, through my church, but I'm a firm believer in intermittent fasting, which I practice on a regular basis. And I'm getting to that age where I'm focused on longevity now. So everything that I can get in regards to information about how to feel better, look better, live longer, all that stuff. When you're young, you really don't think about it quite so much, but you get to that age where it becomes definitely a focal point. And I've finally got there.
Yay, that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I really appreciate your time and, the work that you guys do. I'm a firm believer in treating the source as opposed to, prescribing to the symptoms. So I appreciate what you guys do. And I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing you guys in the future and being able to come down that way and say hi sometime soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Take care.
Awesome. Thank you much. You take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.